What's up, everybody? This is Sea Lunch Sports. I'm Kennedy Curley. Ian Sellers over here with the Mavs in the background. Hayden with his ugly Saints jersey, as always. We're talking today, in the spirit of, the top quarterback list that's, everyone's talking about. Everyone's coming out with their list, it seems like recently. We've actually been doing lists for like the past week or so. Running backs, we did wide receivers right before then. So if you haven't checked those out, check those out. But real quick, we're going to do that. We're also going to do, we're going to start off with, what was it? Top duos of all time. Or not all time. Top duos going forward, excuse me.
Young duos going forward.
I'm messing this up. But young duos going forward. And this is in the NBA. So we're doing that. We're doing the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. So those are going to be probably maybe a little bit of, that's probably going to be a long discussion, but we've had a lot of fun with that. So before we get started, though, if you haven't followed us on Twitter, follow us at Lunch Sports. Also, you can follow me at Kennedy Curley 44. Hayden, you can share yours.
That boy Klink. That's it.
Ian.
I don't even know, man. I could tell you.
Ian Sellers 33.
Yeah, something like that. But go ahead and follow us on Twitter. We have a lot of fun debates on Twitter as well as these podcasts. So
join in because Kennedy and I go at it every day.
Oh, we've been going at it. Yeah, Ian Sellers
37.
I Sellers 37. So go ahead and follow him there. But going forward, let's go ahead and start this talk about the young duos in the league. We're going to keep it at a maximum of 25 years of age. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start this. Who is the top 3 young duos in the league?
Go ahead. Just say it.
De'Aaron Fox and Marvin Bagley is my number 3.
I'm mad because I know who you left off.
No.
He did.
No, I would never do that. I would never do that. That's let me say this. I have been on record on this show saying that when LeBron retires, Luka will be the best player in the NBA. By the time LeBron retires, you have to talk about Luka as the best player in the NBA.
So
I'm glad you said that.
I'm going to hold you to that when we go through the rest of this list.
Okay, you are more than welcome to. His teammate is the one that holds him down. Anyway, we'll get to that.
We will get to it.
We'll get to that. De'Aaron Fox, Marvin Bagley. In the next 5 years, De'Aaron Fox will be the best point guard in the NBA. I have.
But
go ahead.
But if you're gonna, even if he is the best point guard in the NBA, you're talking about the stronger of the two.
Yeah.
Marvin Bagley's gonna. That's why I didn't even consider them to make my top 3 list because of Marvin Bagley.
Marvin Bagley will be about on the level of Kristaps. I'm telling you, not defensively maybe, because Kristaps is a better defender. But in terms of offensively, Bagley is almost the same way, plays the same way. He's faster, he's more athletic. He plays in a more up-tempo system where he's also playing with probably the fastest player in the NBA at this point. Surrounded by shooters, especially as De'Aaron Fox continues to develop a jump shot, which he has every year that he's been in the NBA, which is the only thing that people talked about holding him back once he got to the NBA. And now that he's started to develop that, I said I would have put him as the most improved player.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
No, I like De'Aaron Fox. They're not on my list primarily because I do think that Marvin Bagley has all-star potential, but I don't think that he's on the same level as Porzingis as far as potential goes, or really any of the guys on this list, other than maybe Jamal Murray, who is actually I like Jamal Murray too. I'm not trying to dog on him, but he's not one of the on my list. Jamal Murray is the worst player in my opinion, which brings me to my number 3 being Jokic and Jamal Murray.
Oh, Kennedy. Oh, Kennedy.
Yeah, so look, I like Jokic a lot. I think that he's an MVP candidate going into this season. Jamal Murray, I think that let's see, what would his potential? We previously said CJ McCollum. I think he could be a little bit better than CJ McCollum.
Dame Lillard? Could it be Damian Lillard?
I think he could be a poor man's version of Damian Lillard. Maybe not as good, but
we're just on different levels with him.
I think he could be in between the two. If you like have a spectrum of the two, I think I'd say his potential is somewhere in the middle.
Okay. So a top 5 guard, top 7 guard.
That's
top 7. I could see top 7.
And Jokic, the best big man in the NBA?
I have him second best, but I do think that he could be the best, and I think this season he could be an MVP candidate just because
Jamal Murray is good. Before as a
Nuggets are going to be good, yeah. Well, I don't even think he's going to be a dark horse at this point. He was a dark horse last season, but this point he is going to be top, probably in that conversation. I could see him getting an invite to the ceremony, but
yeah.
I think Jamal Murray, as of now, is holding them back just a little bit. And I don't see as much defense on that as much as my number 1. My number 2 is not great defensively, but yeah, they're my number 3. It was kind of hard too because I actually think that they could win some championships, but I just think there are 2 duos that are better than them.
Okay. I mean, I don't have. I just think I think it just kind of depends how you look at it because, like you said. I know you think Embiid is probably the best center, and I know Ian too has him as the best center. So I just think it depends how you look at it. It depends how you look at it.
Mm-hmm. I had Jokic and Murray as number 3 too.
Ouch.
For the same reasons as you, like we said, Jokic is definitely the better player on that duo, and it's not even close. I see Jamal Murray being a lot closer to CJ McCollum than I do to Damian Lillard, and I could be wrong. He's still young, and obviously you see things in him that I don't necessarily see or I don't necessarily think are there. So I think that he holds them back to being number 2, just because I don't see as much out of Jamal Murray. Number 3. Yeah, number 3. So cool. That's basically my reasoning.
And I'm not mad at that pick. I would have been mad if you would have left them off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
Because, like you said, I just think I see Jamal Murray differently.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, Kennedy and I think we talked about maybe a couple weeks ago on the podcast how there is a chance that he's kind of reached how good he's going to be.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think he's peaked necessarily, but I think he could be close to it.
Yeah.
We're going into year 4. He has gotten better each season, but at some point I don't know that he has necessarily the consistency that we've like he is good. He's really good.
Yeah.
And I think he could be one of the top 7 point guards in the league. But
That's
we don't see it on defense yet. Maybe his shooting is a little streaky still. And so at some point I kind of with NBA players, a lot of the time you see them kind of reach where they are going to reach for like in their first 3 to 5 seasons. So he still has some time, but
no,
it's hard for me to see him get to that Steph Curry, that MVP type of level, which I don't think anyone expects. But I don't. He's not ever going to touch the ball enough to even be at that level because, like you said, Jokic is obviously the best player on that team. I don't even think it's close. But you're right. Defensively, he's awful defensively. I would go as far to say he's awful defensively. He's always he was awful at Kentucky defensively.
Yeah, exactly. So I agree. I definitely I think at the very least he has the it factor of the sort of Damian Lillard type out of anyone on this list, taking the last shot outside of Luka, I think I would put Jamal Murray at number 2.
I could see that.
Yeah, I don't have a huge problem with that.
I don't have a problem with that, actually.
Okay, so that's where I think mine more comes from poor man's Damian Lillard.
With that being said, I think overall he's still the worst player on my list.
I have Marvin Bagley on my list, so you know.
That's true.
Definitely your worst player on your list.
Marvin Bagley's good. We like him.
Yeah.
We'll get there, but I'm a little mad about the team you left off in favor of the Kings, but we'll get there.
Yeah, my number 2 is the Dallas Mavericks. So, Luka, we've talked about him.
Number 1 is.
He has MVP level potential.
1,000%. He has best player in the world potential.
Yeah, and I mean the ability that he has to create his own shot, I think, is like we've talked about this. His some people think he's close to his peak. I think that's absurd. I think that's really, really dumb because we see the skill there, but we don't see the efficiency just yet. We just like the efficiency isn't bad for rookie. I think he shot like 42% overall and 34% from 3, but
yeah,
if he gets those numbers up, he could be averaging like 26, 27 points a game, 8 assists, 8 rebounds still. Yeah. And then Kristaps Porzingis, I would probably say that I guess his injuries have really been the only thing that have bothered me about him. He can shoot. He can actually handle the ball pretty well and pull up. His interior defense isn't that bad. It's actually pretty good. His perimeter defense, I'm not sure that it's that great. So it'll be a question of whether he can play the 4 or the 5. Do you want him banging in with the big man all the time down low defensively, or do you want him guarding the perimeter? Do you want it to mix? I don't know. But ultimately, I think that his injuries are a little bit of a concern. And the fact we've seen him hit that 23 points per game mark, but you could make the case maybe he's close to his peak. I don't know. But yeah, Luka, I think could be the best player on this list. Kristaps, I'm waiting to see. I'm not ready to say he's capable of putting them to the number 1 duo on this list, but I think that I couldn't put them past 2. I had to keep them in the top 2.
Yeah, I have them at 2 as well. Like I said, Kristaps to me holds down them from being number 1. I was really ready to put them at number 1. That's how highly I think of Luka Doncic, which is anyone that knows me personally hurts me to say because he's a Maverick. And I can't. Dallas teams irk me so badly. But I will say, out of any Dallas team that I had to pick, I'd probably pick the Rangers and then the Mavericks.
I was about to say, do you root for a baseball team at all?
Yeah, the Rangers and the Cubs, because my entire family's, Chicago. They broke the 102-year drought, all that jazz. But yeah.
As long as you root for one Dallas team, I'm like, you got to at least rep your city a little bit. So
whenever when LeBron retires, does that mean you're gonna hop on the bandwagon? Because you seem to, whenever you gravitate to a player, you seem to just become a fan of that base. Can we expect that?
I don't know. I don't know if I'd go that far. That's hard for me. I've spent my entire life. I've spent my entire life being the villain in Dallas. So
maybe he.
That's hard because
I could see you as a Kings fan.
I could
or Nuggets fan.
Yeah, I could do the Kings. I could. It depends how long Jokic and Murray are around, but I think I'd probably do Kings. But my favorite player would be Luka, which would be weird for me because, as you both know, Bron's my team.
Yeah, and I know there's a couple of people I know that have you saved in their phone as a Bandwagon Klinkhamer.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you'd really be digging yourself in a hole if you did that because you've already got a little bit of a reputation with it.
People can think that all they want. When they suffered through 6 finals defeats and 2011 living in Dallas, 7 and 9 seasons with the Saints, the Bounty Gate, having an amazing offense and the worst defense in NFL history.
Yeah, that was funny.
Then people can come and talk to me about. But that's fine. People have their own opinions.
Hey, I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
That's fine. That's fine.
You know,
Again,
we'll have to ask you this.
I've always been the villain living here. Always.
Who's your number 2, Ian?
My number 2 is Embiid Simmons.
Okay.
We're real big on them. I think Hayden just said it. Embiid's my favorite young center. Probably top 5 in the NBA. Overall, I'm a really, really big Embiid fan. I think Ben Simmons needs to develop a little bit more of a jump shot. I actually watched highlights of him earlier today. He's been working on it, and it looks pretty smooth. So that definitely factored in. It was really hard I sat here for a minute. I knew who my number 3 was, and I sat here for a minute and kind of played with number 1 and number 2, and I went back and forth with it. And what really separated it apart to me was whenever we said going into next year or going into the rest of their careers. Okay. And I think if we were going into next year, I think I would have had them at 1. But what pushed them to number 2 for me was who the number 1 team is and what players are on that team. And that I'm not a huge Ben Simmons fan. I think he's good, but I don't think he'll really develop into a repeat all-star caliber player. And I think both the players on my number 1 will. I think we've got repeat all-stars on that team.
Okay. Well, my number 1 is Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Now I kind of feel bad, honestly, because Embiid he's like right at that mark of, is he young or is he? Because he's 25, so he qualifies for the list. But I kind of do feel a little bad putting him as a young duo. But it was only his 3rd season this year, as far as like the season that he actually played, and he averaged 27.5 points a game, 13.5 rebounds, and he was a good defender. I love watching him, kind of ball out in the defense, in the paint, I should say. And I think he dominates the paint both offensively and defensively. And it's weird because he can get the ball at the elbow and like kind of drive his way to the paint. Like, I don't know. It's weird watching him because he has both the post-up game and the face-up game. It's really hard to defend him. And so that's why I think he's the best center in the league. But Ben Simmons, I think actually, I might be higher on him than most people in America because a lot of people kind of think, oh, he can't shoot. I think that he could develop a shot. I'm slightly worried about his shot, but not worried enough to think that it'll stop him from being a perennial all-star because everything else that we've seen of him, he can defend, he can get to the paint, he can create for his other teammates. He's 6'10", playing point guard. He can handle the ball. I think that he's great at pretty much everything else. And even if he gets a jump shot that gets him about 30%, if it's even just a Russell Westbrook jump shot, I think that he could make that team. I know that's what I'm saying. But even if it is just like in that 30% 3-point range where you have to defend him, but I think that he could be one of the better players, definitely top 10 in the league at that point. Embiid, I think, would be top 10 in that point. And if you surround them with shooters, I think that's the team to beat in the East for a while, them and Giannis. So
number 1, Hayden, you want me to go?
Go ahead.
Okay. My number 1 is Porzingis and Doncic. Like we were just talking about, and I'm
shocker.
Huh?
I said shocker.
Yeah. Like we were just talking about, Doncic does have the potential to be the best player in the world, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got there.
I wouldn't either.
I think the injury with Porzingis does concern me, just because it's a big injury and it's a lot to come back from. But before he got injured, and I've loved him from the day he was drafted. He reminded me of Dirk, just kind of with his style of play. But I think he's got the best. He's got the best jump shot of any big man in the league. I think before he got injured. Name one.
See, that's disagree. That's
Tell
where
me a big man over 7 foot that can shoot better than he can.
with you until you said he has the best jump shot out of any big man.
Name one over 7 foot tall that shoots better than him before he got hurt.
Jokic.
Who?
Jokic.
False.
No, that's wrong.
Close. That's wrong. Porzingis does have, or did have before post-injury, and that's what concerns me is the fact that we haven't seen him come back from this yet. And that's why I was flirting with them at 1 and 2. But I before he got injured, there were glimmers of conversation of him in All-Star, or not All-Star, as MVP. Like, he took the NBA by storm before he got hurt. And I think we kind of, after that injury, everyone kind of fell off of him a little bit. But I think he's got potential to be a perennial All-Star. And if I had to guess, I'd say he would be if he comes back and he's at least 90% of what he was before injury, which I think that's not much of a reach.
See, I'm not even worried about his, like, I think he's going to be as good as he was when he comes back. I'm just worried. We've seen him have season-ending injuries a few times now. Embiid, we've seen him get injured, but it's like he'll come back, you know. Yeah. He missed that rookie season, and other than that, he comes back. But I do think that Porzingis I think that he could be a perennial All-Star. I'm not worried about his skill level, his playing level at all. I just think that Embiid is a little bit more dominant. I think that Simmons, like, if you surround them with shooters, I think that would be the most complete team maybe in the league, especially with their defense. So I don't know. I mean, I did think I went back and forth between the Mavs and the 76ers. I guess maybe to try to not be biased, I might have put the 76ers. I don't know. But man, I am trying to think about who's the best shooter, though.
I think you try to make sure that no one even has a glimpse of bias at all when they listen to you. And you do a really good job. You come off completely unbiased with everything you say. I don't give a shit. And I know Hayden doesn't either.
I really try to think. But yeah, no, I'm trying to think about this shooter, this best big man shooter, and I'm actually having a hard time. Maybe Kristaps would be toward the top of that list for sure.
Yep.
It's Jokic.
No, Jokic shot 30% from 3 this year.
Buddy.
That was the year before he shot 40% from 3.
Yeah, but just this, I mean, that was one season. And then this year he went down 10%.
Just
do you
9%.
Do you expect that? Do you expect that to stay that way?
Of the seasons that I've seen Jokic, he shot 33% his rookie season, 32% his second season, then 39.6 the season after, and then 30.7 this year. So really only one good shooting season. I think that he'll be a fine shooter. I have a hard time saying that he's the best shooter.
Would you say would you say around 36 or 37% from 3?
Next season?
Over
I could see that.
Over his career.
I could see that over his career. I think Porzingis is a little better as a shooter. I think Lauri Markkanen could be in that. I think Markkanen could be a better shooter.
Oh, you mean the next Dirk?
Shut up.
Oh,
hey, see, we thought about this the other.
You missed that episode.
I still have my cup. I still have my cup right here. Wait a second.
Lauri Markkanen. I will say it again for anyone that didn't hear. Lauri Markkanen has the chance to be the next Dirk.
No,
you're so dumb.
Not when Kobe White's gonna have the ball. You said that. What was it? Who was your 10th best?
Wendell Carter. Wendell's the interior guy.
You have him as the 10th best young guy. So
yeah,
you put him, Kobe White,
under rookie
Zach LaVine. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, rookie contract.
Yeah,
okay.
That's different because I'm not saying he's gonna be he's gonna be a solid 16-10 guy, and then Markkanen will be the leading scorer on that team. I don't expect LaVine to be there for long.
I could see that. Yeah.
I'm just telling you. Lauri Markkanen, if things go right with injuries, has a chance to be the next Dirk. Yes, he does.
Like a 1% chance. 1%, but
like 90%.
I don't even want to do this anymore.
You said 80% chance.
80%.
80% chance.
If
you fucking stupid?
I should shoot you.
Kennedy.
No.
If he stays healthy.
Where's my Glock?
You're
I
just
can,
so
I can
dumb.
get mine for you and just,
I don't have a Glock.
through
I'll
the
be honest.
screen. I only have mine because I'm in the police academy, but either way, same thing.
You're the. We're gonna talk about this after. We'll talk about this.
We'll get back to that. I know
We'll
that.
get another.
You're dumb. You're dumb. There's maybe half of 1%, and even that I think is being generous. There's not a chance. Skill set isn't even fucking close. And I think you just said that because you wanted to eat at us a little bit. I really do. I think you just wanted to get us right.
I've been saying it. You missed it. You missed the episode. I've been saying it for weeks.
If I heard that episode, I probably wouldn't be on here with you right now.
80% chance. That's ridiculous.
That's
5% chance at best.
5% chance. Huh?
Yeah.
Now, Kennedy said some outrageous things last episode. That was probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard on here.
I think your dog still with you?
Some dumb shit, and that's the dumbest thing you've ever said.
Where's your dog? Your dog should bite you in the face.
Moose, get him.
Yeah. Look. Okay.
All right. I'll
Is your next?
stop with the blasphemy. I'll stop with the blasphemy.
Is your first overall team young duo? Is that Breeze and Michael Thomas?
Breeze is 40 years old. What are you talking about?
39.
Oh yeah, sorry. I just figured that your bias was gonna kick in until you thought back to his 2005 days or something.
I wouldn't have put him as. I don't know. He's gotten better as he's aged.
I can't wait till he's 16, still out there.
Him and Brady, dude. That's unreal. Anyway, we already know who my number one is. I already kind of went over the reasons why. It's Jokic and Murray. Again, higher on Jokic than I am on Embiid. I like Embiid. You and I were talking about before we started how we love the way Embiid, likes to run his mouth, because that's what I love to do, honestly.
You're not even good at it.
I am damn good at it. You're right. I am.
I said you're not.
Okay, we're not going to get into that right now.
You are good at saying dumb things to get people riled up. You are good at that.
That is.
I'll give you that.
Case in point, rewind about 3 minutes ago.
Who do you hate to play the most in basketball?
Who do I hate to play up against? Like when we're playing pickup ball?
Yeah.
Oh, Jake Ross. It's not even close.
Hold on. No, dude.
That's not basketball.
That man.
That's football. That's not basketball.
No, basketball.
That man in basketball, there's something about him, man. Real quick, my phone is at 41%. I think that's God trying to tell me that 41, Dirk is there's no chance.
41% chance.
Nope.
He's as good as
You're done.
41%.
That was disrespectful.
I'm joking. All right, at most 20%. Anyway, let's move on.
I still think.
So your list was yours was Denver.
Yeah.
The Denver duo.
Jokic Murray.
Mavs, and I have 76ers.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, I guess that's the end of it.
Now the fun part.
Now it's the fun part.
I want to talk about one thing though. So, Hayden, you said so you had Jokic and Murray as your number one. You had Dallas at 2.
Mm-hmm.
So you said that Luka has potential and probably will be the best player in the NBA.
Yes.
Going forward. And our list was going forward.
Yes.
So is that how low you are on Kristaps?
I think that's more how high I am on Jokic and Murray as a tandem.
So do you think that you're higher on Murray long term than you are Kristaps?
No way.
I go back and forth because, like I said, I honestly believe Jamal Murray can get to Damian Lillard status. I'm not even, trolling at this point. I honestly believe that. I'm not saying he will, I also think he has the lowest floor out of really anyone outside of maybe Ben Simmons, or Bagley.
Bagley.
But I think I really do honestly believe Jamal Murray, at the very least, will be CJ McCollum.
So if you could take, let's say, Jamal Murray is somewhere in between, close to the middle of Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, and that's what it turns into.
Yes, I'm that high on. What?
Would you take that over Porzingis?
I think so. I honestly think so. Especially pairing him up with Jokic, because Jamal Murray's more of a combo guard, and Jokic is the one that's going to be the facilitator for that team. Everything runs through Jokic. Yep. So I think that allows Jamal Murray to do the type of things that he's good at, which is shot making and secondary playmaking. I honestly, if Jamal Murray gets to where I think he is, I think I would take him over Kristaps. But it's very tough. It's hard. Hard. 1 and 2 was really hard for me.
Yeah.
3, I was kind of biased because I think, I talk about the Kings so much that, like, if I didn't have them on there, I'd look,
Yeah, I'm just mad that you didn't even have the 76ers on your list.
I know. I'm not high on Ben. I've watched him longer than I think probably the 3 of us, just because he went to LSU.
Back when he was softer than he already is.
Yeah, let's not even get into that. We didn't make the tournament, and we had Ben Simmons on our team.
I know.
And then the next, we're better than we were with him now.
Yeah.
We won the SEC this year, and we don't have, I don't know. Anyway, that's a different.
We're going to have to talk about SEC basketball at some point, because I think it actually could be pretty good. Not this episode, but at some point, even just in college basketball when that comes around, because I'm excited about Florida.
Oh,
but,
yes.
So, to move on to the quarterback list, we're going to do our top 10. So we could just go ahead and get right into it.
Do it.
Top 10. Who wants to start this?
I'll start at number 10. Deshaun Watson.
I'm actually. You're what?
I'm really big on Deshaun Watson.
Are you?
I think he's going to be.
You're big on him, and you have him at 10?
Yeah, I'm big on him.
Oh boy, you're in for a surprise.
I guess you're bigger on mine. I just, if sample size is small, I think going forward he's going to be really good. And I think he can only go up that list. But the reason he is that high is because there are other accomplished guys that have been in the league for so long. And kind of like I did last time, I weighed overall career a little higher than potential going forward.
Matt Ryan better not be above Deshaun Watson in your list.
I'm not going to tell you anything, buddy.
I'm so mad at you. Actually, that might be the worst thing you have ever. Oh, okay. We'll get to that.
I'm not going to tell you anything.
Oh my God. All right. Okay. All right.
Deshaun Watson. Okay. No, I've seen some lists without Deshaun Watson on them, and I just don't know how. I feel like there are so many different, some people think he's like a 15 ranked. Some people think he's like borderline top 5. So I don't know, but
that's the thing about quarterbacks, and that's what makes this list so difficult to make. Is when you're looking at other positions in football, there's only so much you can weigh.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at quarterbacks, there's so much to go into it. It's really hard to not make a list of top quarterbacks to a certain extent without it turning into personal preference.
For sure.
Yeah.
1,000%.
So that's why I think you see, you have Deshaun Watson left off, and that probably ties into inexperience. It ties into the quarterbacking style. and it turns into maybe you could consider the other weapons that are around him that make them look well. So I think that's probably why you see him in that range. It's a lot of personal things.
Yeah. Well, Hayden, I want to. No, you're good. Sorry, I want to announce my number 10. I think you might like this. I don't know,
Yes!
but my number 10 is Jared Goff.
Yeah! No! No!
Oh yeah.
Come on!
Yeah, Ian, not very high on him. Before this episode, I think Ian made some backhand joke to Hayden of, I think I know who your number 10 is going to be, and said it was Jared Goff, and I had to just laugh a little bit because Jared Goff is my number 10. So Jared Goff, I think he's actually better than people give him credit for. Some people really don't like him, like you, Ian. And, I get that he's not like a top-tier quarterback in the league, but I think that he's on the fringe of 10. I definitely think he's better than guys like Andy Dalton, Dak Prescott, Jameis Winston.
Yes.
I won't tell you.
So I'm trying to figure out who you left. I'm looking at my list. These are the best 10 quarterbacks in football.
I'll tell you who I leave off as we get later.
Who the hell you left off this list and put Deshaun Watson above? Because it's ridiculous. Any single one of them that you left off on my list and you put Jared Goff on there is just wrong.
Yes, Kennedy.
Jared Goff is good, man. I don't care what anyone says. He had a few bad games this season, and everyone freaked out about them. But Jared Goff is a good. He what?
He's not good. He has a good team.
He's good. He threw, what was it, 32-12 this year, 28-7 the other year?
I'm going to destroy you. All right.
His supporting cast is honestly not even like, you have Gurley, and then his wide receivers are like good.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say my 10 because I can jump off Kennedy here. I also have Jared Goff at number 10. 4,700 yards, 8.5 yards a throw, 32 touchdowns, 65% completion percentage, a 101.1 QBR.
His QB rating?
Yes. Yeah. Did you hear all the things I just said?
Yeah, I heard.
How? Tell me. Oh, I can't wait. If Matt Ryan is on your list and you don't have Jared Goff.
I think you could put Jameis Winston on the LA Rams, and he would be not as good.
He'd throw 4,700 yards, 32 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and I have a 101 QBR. He has a better receiver than arguably anyone Jared Goff has.
Yeah, that's my thing. Cooper Kupp was out for most of the season. Brandon Cooks is huh?
When did Cooper Kupp go out?
Like, wasn't it like week? It was before week 8, wasn't it? Or it might have been at week 8. Regardless, he didn't have him most of the season, or at least over half.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks is decent.
Brandon Cooks is so overrated. Let me just say that as a Saints fan, he's so overrated. Brandon Cooks might be on my top 5 overrated receivers list in the NFL.
That would be fun. Top
5. I can't stand Brandon Cooks, but yes, Jared Goff is 10. It's not like he's up at 6, Ian.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that.
I think it's ridiculous to have him in the top 15.
Is Dak Prescott above him in your list?
Huh?
If you were to make a list, would Dak be above him?
Yes.
Okay, you do not know how to separate bias from Jared Goff? He just threw for 4,700 yards and 32 touchdowns.
Oh my! You put Dak on that team that won the Super Bowl.
Oh, wait, hold on, Ian. Look, man, we're fellow Cowboys fans. I like Dak. But Jared Goff did just beat Dak.
No.
In the playoffs.
No. The Rams beat the Cowboys.
But Jared Goff he didn't just have nothing to do with that.
Which quarterbacks on that team you have the same result?
Oh, man. I think it's a little closer. Dak did okay. He had an okay game. It wasn't anything great.
And you want to know the sad thing? That was one of his best games of the year, too.
I don't know about that, but
Cooper Kupp got hurt in week 10.
Week 10, there you go.
Did he really?
Yeah. I mean, that's still 7 weeks without your best receiver.
Yeah.
And the whole playoffs. But then again, they shouldn't have gotten to the Super Bowl, but we won't get into that right now.
Well, you can go to number 9. I think we've talked about Jared Goff enough.
Phillip Rivers.
Okay, I'm not super mad at that. I'm not super mad at that.
Is Phillip Rivers not on y'all's list?
No, he's a little higher, but
He's on my list, but he's not. Yeah.
He's a little higher. I'm not mad at that. I could see the argument.
I cannot.
My
wait
next one.
y'all
My
look off.
next one is gonna piss you off too. I already know. But go ahead, Kennedy. Who's your number 9?
Mine, y'all might hate me, but I kind of think he's overrated a little bit. Still good. Andrew Luck. He's thrown a lot of interceptions over his career. He hasn't really shown that he's going to stop. And
He's not in my top 10, but he made my honorable mentions.
so that makes me feel better. Look, man, I think I like Andrew Luck. I think that everyone kind of hypes him up to be a little better than he is because he was a great prospect. He was supposed to be the next Peyton Manning, and he's such a nice guy that no one really can hate on him. Also, these past few seasons of him being injured has left us with the what if factor. But I don't see him as – I think there are quarterbacks that I think that are better than him because they throw less interceptions. They throw about the same amount of yards. They throw about the same amount of touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost even had Jared Goff over him. It was that close, I think. But Andrew Luck, solid quarterback. I don't think that he's as good as everyone wants to believe. That's my only thing.
I get that. He's hyped up like he's going to be the best quarterback in the league. So I do get that because I hear that and I think it's ridiculous. I'm trying to figure out how you found 9 guys that are better than Andrew Luck.
8 guys, but almost 9 because I almost had Jared Goff over him.
I don't see that.
He's at 11 for me. I'll say that.
That's ridiculous. No.
He's already 29 too, so this whole talk of him being, his potential and everything is. I mean, we're kind of. Is this what he is? If this is what he is, then I don't want to say he's a bust, but he's.
In his career, he's had 2 rosters that were decent, and those have been both his good years in the league. Look at the teams he's had before. Do y'all not think
what happened?
What hurt?
This team was pretty good this year.
This year,
what happened? Have they been past the first round?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. But he has a top 10 receiver in the NFL, also according to you.
He does. But an NFL roster is not built around 2 guys.
They have the defensive rookie of the year. They have a top young safety. I mean, how much more do you want, Andrew Luck? What more do you want?
Similar. I'm not going to compare him to Eli Manning because I don't think he's that bad. Because he's good. Andrew Luck is good, but
he has talent.
He's a talented quarterback. He can even run the ball a little bit, but
top 10.
Not that he does all the time.
Again, Jared Goff has room to continue growing. Like Kennedy said, Andrew Luck is already 29, been through 2 injury seasons.
Yeah, and this is the first year that he threw over 65%. Other seasons, he did have that 40 touchdown season in his 3rd year, but I don't know. I think that he's a volume stats guy a little bit. He gets the ball a lot. They don't really have the running game, and so they kind of give it to him, and he does good enough to get them to the playoffs, but that's why he's in my closer to number 10. He's good enough, but I don't think he's great.
Andy Dalton at his peak is how I would describe him.
Oh, y'all are going to be pissed off at my list. Let me just say that right now.
Okay.
Number 8?
No. I got
number 9, right?
9. Big balls, Baker motherfucking Mayfield.
Why? Why?
Yeah, why?
Uh,
My computer's about to die because it's not charging for some reason.
with a bum coach for the first half of the season, he still ended up throwing 3,700 yards, 27 touchdowns, 260 yards a game, led a team that has been the laughingstock of the NFL for the last 15 years to a game from the playoffs. Now you add in more weapons, a good offensive system, and continuing to improve. Plus, he has the it factor that guys like Dak and guys like Andrew Luck don't have.
See, that's where I do think that he has the it factor, but Baker Mayfield, I just think that he had good moments, and then he also had moments where he looked like a rookie. Because he was. So I think that going forward, maybe he could be number 8, but he hasn't shown me that he's the 8th best quarterback at any point recently. Also, Ian is frozen on me.
Yeah, he's frozen. Number 9.
Oh, you have him at 9. Okay.
Mm.
This could be a problem if Ian stays frozen. How do we want to do this?
Let's.
Here. We can
Stop the recording right now.
Stop recording?
Yeah.